Puesto en la inteligencia artificial y mirando a los asuntos geopolíticos que nos conciernen en estos momentos, con Rusia hablando de pruebas nucleares, pero con el mundo pendiente también de lo que está pasando en Venezuela. Esta mañana les informamos sobre los movimientos por parte de Rusia. Escuchamos a la líder de la oposición venezolana, el Premio Nobel de la Paz de este mismo año. Escuchamos a María Corina Machado.
And this fraudulent system. We knew we not only had to win, but we had to prove it. And in order to do that, we turned our movement into the most robust organization. Literally over 1 million volunteers organized all around the country without the regime understanding what was happening and what was coming. We had to smuggle Starlink antennas. We had to smuggle printers, laptops, scanners, not only to collect the tally sheets, but actually to digitize them. And in less than 24 hours after the election, the whole world was able to be, a witness of our landslide victory. So they had the arms, the power, the fear. We had the people, the truth. And guess who is going to win? So now, facing what you just mentioned.
Oh, I think we lost your sound.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, listen, it happens to all of us. We mute by accident. I hear you now. We hear you now.
Here I am. Regarding the strategy of President Trump towards this criminal narco-terrorist structure is absolutely correct, because Nicolás Maduro is not a legitimate head of state. He is the head of this narco-terrorist structure that has declared war on the Venezuelan people and to democratic nations in the region. These structures, criminal structures, sustain themselves on the money that comes from drug trafficking, gold smuggling, the arms and weapons smuggling, and people, human trafficking. And you need to cut those cash flows. And that's precisely what President Trump is doing to protect millions of lives of American citizens, Latin American citizens, and certainly Venezuelan citizens. Maduro started this war, and President Trump is ending that war.
Amazing. For those that may not know, can you explain the gravity of China, Russia, and Iran's incursion into Venezuela? How would you manage relations with these countries?
This is a critical issue that all Americans, all people in the Americas have to understand. Venezuela has been turned into the main bridgehead of the adversaries of the United States and its criminal networks and enemies that support them. So now Venezuela has turned, our territory, our resources, our institutions have been taken by, they're being captured by these actors, these criminal actors. In the case of Iran, Iran has turned Venezuela into its satellite, operating from the heart of the Americas. Not only the National Guard has been operating and training forces, they have given technology in drone systems. They are building drones, armed drones in our country, and they have used Venezuelan financial system to launder their resources for groups such as Hezbollah and other terrorist groups to operate, giving them over 10,000 Venezuelan passports to freely move around the world and the Americas. And I insist, this is not thousands of kilometers away. This is 3 hours by air away from Florida. In the case of Russia, Russia has armed Venezuela. Russia has helped in intelligence, espionage, and technology. And they have agents currently operating in our country. And finally, in the case of China, I don't know if you guys are aware, but Venezuela has turned to be the first in China's history receiver of loans. The largest loan portfolio China has had in its history is Venezuela, over $60 billion. And one thing that I'm surprised is not been noted before is that China in 2012 got granted commission by President Hugo Chavez, then President Hugo Chavez, to its state-owned company called CITIC, a report, a full studio, geological studio of Venezuelan mineral resources. And this information only China has, where it's Venezuelan deposits of gold, minerals, rare earth, critical minerals. All this information right now is owned by China. So look, we have to understand that now Iranian, Russian, and Chinese have operations in Venezuela, military, intelligence, and technology, only 3 hours away from Florida. And a transition to democracy will certainly dismantle this and turn Venezuela into the strongest security ally of the United States and Western democracies in the region.
Fantastic. Going back to the elections for a moment, what would you do if Maduro called you right now, right after this interview, and said he's willing to recognize the results of the July 28th election and organize the transfer of power? What would be your top priority your first week of government?
Well, Francis, as you are aware, we had offered Nicolás Maduro from day one, after we won by a landslide, the possibility of a negotiated transition. He has rejected it over and over again, and on the contrary, has unleashed the worst repression wave in our history. We have dozens of innocent citizens that have been disappeared, tortured, abused, people whose houses have been marked just because they defended the votes. Currently, we have 870 political prisoners. Many of them are my colleagues, my friends, my children. And so this is a moment in which Maduro has to understand that the hours are running up. And certainly, if he accepts a transition, this will move further, orderly and peacefully and faster. But it will take place regardless whatever Maduro does. So in the first stage, in the first 100 hours, we need to take control. We have to secure our stations, secure the borders, and of course, liberate all of our political prisoners. The first 100 days would be a day of a stabilization in which we need to give attention and center all our efforts in our people that will have supply of power in order to have supply of fuel, to have foods, medicines, security. And certainly from economic perspective, we need to put order from this chaos. Venezuela is currently to bring order in every dimension, but especially in our economy, in our financial accounts. Everything will be made public because transparency is the essence of trust. And I want to convey this message of all of you that are business promoters and entrepreneurs and visionaries in this hall today. Listen to this. Venezuela is coming back, and fast. We will turn Venezuela from the criminal hub of the Americas into the energy hub of the Americas and the technology hub of the Americas. Venezuela is going to be the new global frontier for innovation and wealth creation, and we invite you to be part of it.
I really hope you can hear the audience clapping for that. Maria.
No, I can't. I just imagine it.
Imagine it. What impact would a transition to democracy have for Venezuelans, both inside and outside the country, so many of them who are here in the United States, and for the entire region?
This will be transformational.
Escuchamos a María Corina Machado, la líder de la oposición en Venezuela, respondiendo sobre los planes que tienen tanto Rusia como China como Irán. Dice que están utilizando a Venezuela para ponerle en contra de Estados Unidos. Dice que Maduro no va a reconocer que perdió las elecciones y habla sobre el papel de Donald Trump. Dice que está ayudando a la libertad de Venezuela. Seguimos escuchando las declaraciones de María Corina Machado.
Only go twice a week to schools because teachers are paid $1 a day, where 86% of our population lives in poverty. And yes, I'm talking about the country that has the largest oil reserves in the world. And that's what we're suffering right now. We will turn fear into hope and re-encountering the families. We will turn poverty into opportunity for all, for the region, for the US. We will turn this criminal mob into a security shield in the heart of the Americas. We will dismantle these criminal cartels, drug cartels, transnational criminal organizations. We will push out those agents from regimes that have used our country to turn our country into a real threat for the national security of the region. And certainly we will establish long-lasting alliances for the security of the whole hemisphere. Third, and this is amazing, super exciting for me, we will open Venezuela for foreign investment. I am talking about a $1.7 trillion opportunity, not only in oil and gas, which is huge, and you know that the opportunities, because we will open all upstream, middle stream, downstream to all companies, but also in mining, in gold, in infrastructure, power. We have our grid right now has a 17 gigawatt opportunity of energy potential that needs to be rehabbed. Certainly for technology and AI and tourism. You know, Venezuela has 2,800 kilometers of pristine Caribbean coastline ready to be developed. So this is going to be huge. We will bring rule of law. We will open markets. We will have security for foreign investment and a transparent, massive privatization program that is waiting for you. Fourth, I have to say, for the region. This will mean we will stabilize the region and bring democracy. And please listen to this. Our cause, the Venezuelan cause, is also the Cuban cause and the Nicaraguan cause. Liberating Venezuela will mean that Cuba and Nicaragua will soon be free again. And for the first time in history, we will have the Americas free of communism, dictatorship, and narco-terrorism. And finally, our people. You know that a third of Venezuelan population have been forced to flee our country, almost 9 million Venezuelans. Many of them are there with you, and I want to thank you, because if there's one community I need to thank, it's the community of Florida, because you have welcomed them. And they are good, hard-working people, but we want them back. And as soon as Maduro goes, you will see hundreds of thousands of Venezuelan migrants coming back home. We want our children back home, and we will reunite Venezuela in a proud, prosperous, and safe country for them.
Wow. Again, you can't hear the audience, but they're clapping tremendously for you. How would you go about restoring relationships with more challenging countries like Brazil, Colombia, or Mexico?
Well, the situation is different with every one of them, but they will understand that we will bring rule of law and transparency above all. Brazil is certainly a main player in our region. We hope we can build strong, transparent, mutually beneficial relations with Brazil, not only in commerce, investment, migration, but also promoting democracy and rule of law in the region. Secondly, with Mexico, this goes beyond commerce or investment because there's a common challenge regarding dismantling the drug cartels. And we expect that this could be a hand-in-hand strategy, as we will have with the United States and other countries, for these criminal structures to be stopped and pushed out of our countries. And finally, Colombia, I would say that's a vital relationship. You are aware that we share, a very vivid border that has turned into a gray zone where criminals operate freely. And the only way you can dismantle this and this corridor of drugs that comes from Colombia through Venezuela towards the US, the Caribbean, and Europe, the only way is from an alliance on both sides. Maduro so far has been the best.
Pendientes de María Corina Machado hablando en este evento de Miami, este American Business Forum, en un momento en el que hay que mirar precisamente a Estados Unidos. Ojo con esta información, esta última hora, y es que la Fuerza Aérea de Estados Unidos ha lanzado este miércoles un misil balístico intercontinental Minuteman III, desarmado y con capacidad nuclear desde la base de la Fuerza Espacial Vandenberg en California. El Comando de Ataque Global de la Fuerza Aérea ha informado que el misil, parte de un ejercicio programado, aterrizó con éxito cerca del sitio de pruebas de defensa antimisiles balísticos Ronald Reagan en las Islas Marshall. La prueba se produjo poco después de que el presidente Trump instara a los militares a reanudar las pruebas de armas nucleares por primera vez en más de 30 años. Les decimos, lo repetimos, Estados Unidos ha lanzado un misil con capacidad nuclear. Este Minuteman III ha sido lanzado por parte de la Fuerza Aérea de Estados Unidos desde la base Vandenberg en California. Pendientes de Rusia, que decía que iba a estudiar si se reanudan o no las pruebas nucleares. De momento Trump da el primer paso, prueba un misil con capacidad nuclear en Estados Unidos. Nosotros volvemos a mirar Estados Unidos, volvemos a mirar a Miami. Escuchamos de nuevo a Machado.
What about the next 5 years? What's your vision for the next 5 years of Venezuela?
Well, I will be with my family united and my loved ones in a free country. And I will tell you something, Venezuela will be the envy of the world. They would look and say, how did you do that? How did you turn a country in ruins into a beacon of hope, of prosperity, of security? I know many people feared that the destruction and devastation have been so huge in our institutions, in our infrastructure, in our resources, in our families, in our soul. But believe me, this has brought a country united as never before. We turned down the barriers the regime had built to divide us for racial or ideological or social issues. And the country is united around values, human dignity, justice, responsibility, solidarity, freedom, and love. And this, this urge, this need to bring our children back home. So Venezuela will turn into a country of prosperity that will be a living example of what citizens organize with their, will and genius to turn into a great nation that will also be recipient of citizens that come all over the world because they want to invest, to create, to live their dreams in a land of grace.
When I pause, it's because they're clapping and chanting libertad. We spoke yesterday on the phone, and you invited me to a free Venezuela, and I look forward to that day where I can go with my wife, who's in the audience, to visit you in the presidential palace one day. We have a special moment here. You're speaking to the world. You're speaking to the Miami community. You're speaking to the Florida community in the United States. We're going to have the President of the United States here later, President Milei tomorrow. What is your message to the people of Miami, to the people of Florida, that, as you said, would probably love nothing more than just be able to go back to their country that's been destroyed by this regime? What's your message for them?
Look, Francis, if there's one community in the world I owe gratitude, is to the people of Florida. Because you have received thousands of good, hardworking, family-loving Venezuelans. You have opened your schools, your businesses, your hearts for them. They have feel protected while we work together and fight for they've been able to come back. And also you have maintained this flame of hope alive, making the world understand that freedom is a universal cause, and understanding what it means liberating Venezuela in the context of Latin America and the Americas as a whole. As I mentioned before, once we liberate Venezuela, Cuba will follow, Nicaragua will follow. We will have this continent free of communism, dictatorship, and narco-terrorism for the first time in history. This is huge. So I want to thank all of you in your community, teachers, owners of businesses, journalists, and certainly your leadership, your political leadership. You have been a great friend, Francis, of our cause. I am so grateful to you. I'm so grateful to the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, that has been, the champion of the cause of freedom and democracy in the Americas. I want to thank Governor DeSantis. I want to thank my friend, Senator Rick Scott, that has always trusted us, and now Senator Ashley Moody. And of course, I have to say, and I want to make a special mention to our three amigos, or three friends, María Elvira Salazar, Mario Díaz-Balart, and Carlos Jimenez, who have been so close and always supporting us. So, this is a tribute to all of you as well. And I want to insist in this. The prize that was given to us is also a prize that you should feel as your own, because you are part of this history of victory. And history will always remember what you have done as a community, as a nation, for freedom and justice around the world. So Venezuela will be free, and I'm looking forward to that day when I will hug you and embrace you and receive you in this wonderful country. Thank you very much.
María Corina, thank you so much for your courage in doing this. We know you do this at tremendous risk to yourself. Thank you for sharing your words, your vision, for your leadership. Thank you for being such an example to all of us of what courageous leadership really means. And on behalf of the American Business Forum, I just want to congratulate you once again, and thank you.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Hasta aquí ha llegado el discurso de María Corina Machado en este American Business Forum, que va a ser uno de los puntos principales de nuestra programación en el día de hoy, esperando también a Donald Trump, esperando incluso a Leo Messi. Nosotros vamos a hacer una pequeña pausa y enseguida les contamos el cierre europeo en Negocios Televisión.
¿Te preocupa que tu inquilino no pague el alquiler? Sabemos que esto puede ser un desafío. Aunque los gastos son fáciles de calcular, el verdadero reto es gestionar la falta de pago por parte del inquilino. SEAC te ofrece una garantía de renta asegurada hasta que recuperes tu vivienda, pase el tiempo que pase. Relájate. SEAC se encarga de todo. Alquila tranquilo. SEAC responde.
Saltas al vacío pensando que no tienes red. Los problemas del negocio se confunden con los de tu vocación. Y necesitas liberarte de las preocupaciones del día a día. De las nóminas, las hipotecas, los alquileres, seguros, declaraciones. De pelear con todos y con todo. Aquí hay un banco que piensa en ti, que te entiende mejor que nadie y que te acompaña para que te dediques plenamente a aquello para lo que has nacido. Es Arquia Banca, el banco de los profesionales. Respira.
El riñón es el órgano más importante del cuerpo. Sobre todo tiene la hormona antienvejecimiento y esto se llama proteína cloto. Cuando no tenemos proteína cloto, envejece el corazón, envejecen los vasos sanguíneos, envejece la piel, envejece el cerebro. Los ultraprocesados son legales, pero son tóxicos. Y aquí viene el tóxico de fósforo. Cuanto más fósforo le doy al riñón para que elimine, más se consume cloto y más vieja te haces.
Recetas, vamos a volver al origen y vamos a hablar de la dieta mediterránea. Es el claro ejemplo de una alimentación 100% saludable. Coño, hablamos de cerdo. Hoy le voy a comprar a 7 euritos. Es que la carnicería este es un ladrón, me le mete a 12. Te estamos hablando casi de un 40% de inyección, de glutamatos, potenciadores de sabor.
Y ojo con las etiquetas. Ecológico, detox y tal.
Ya.
Vamos a ver qué significa eso también, Sí, si tú comes todos los días unas patatas envasadas de bolsa, claro que te vas a morir antes y vas a envejecer más rápido y van a enfermar tus órganos. Que hay mucha industria detrás, mucha tecnología y mucha gente
Todos
interesada.
envenenados ya.
No.
Comida al día, una comida al día. ¿Por qué nosotros tenemos que tener desayuna, almuerza, come, merienda, cena?
¿Qué ocurre si estamos dando todo el rato de comer a esa mitocondria? No sabe cómo canalizar tanta energía y genera unas reacciones que son reacciones de oxidación. Lesiona todos los órganos y empieza a ocurrir con 40 años.
Yo creo que dedicando un poquito más de tiempo a la alimentación estoy seguro que duramos muchos más años.
El café natural, no torrefacto, natural, reduce infartos, ictus, problemas de las arterias de las piernas, problemas de deterioro cognitivo, problemas renales. ¿Y cuánto? Hasta 5 tazas al día se ha demostrado un efecto exponencial.
Es un mito que el que tiene
Es un mitazo.
hipertensión no debe tomar café.
La sal bien, el café mal. El café hay que mantenerlo.
Haces preguntas que nos van a meter en un pequeño marrón.
Lo siento, no era mi intención.
Buenos días, 8 de la mañana es la figura de Charlie. Buenos días, 8 de la mañana dicen que al oro le han bajado la tierra después de la jornada de ayer.
Seguimos en Negocios Televisión.
Mañana continuamos en Negocios Televisión.
Sean bienvenidos de nuevo a Negocios Televisión.
Negocios Televisión.
Sobre todo intentando ver lo que Europa está poniendo encima de la mesa en esos ejercicios militares.
Seguimos en Negocios Televisión, seguimos pendientes de las últimas horas mirando esta escalada nuclear entre Rusia y Estados Unidos, pero con el foco puesto en Europa, en el cierre de la sesión europea, con el foco puesto en la inteligencia artificial, en si es o no una burbuja, en si vamos a tener o no más caídas en Wall Street. De momento cerramos esta tercera sesión de la semana en Europa con un tono bastante positivo. Empezamos con el Eurostoxx 50, subiendo algo más de una décima, 0,16% hasta los 5.669 puntos. También subidas, algo más pronunciadas, para el IBEX 35, cierra en positivo con un 0,39% arriba hasta los 16.098 puntos. Recupera esta cota que, bueno, le acercaba a los máximos históricos. También miramos a la bolsa de Frankfurt, el DAX alemán, subiendo un 0,28%. Cierra en los 24.016 puntos, mientras que el CAC 40 parisino viene un poquito más plano, también en verde, también en positivo, subiendo un 0,08% hasta los 8.074 enteros. Miramos ahora a Italia, el MIB italiano también cotiza con subidas del 0,41% hasta los 43.438 puntos, mientras que cerramos mirando a Londres, mirando al FTSE 100, que es la más fuerte en el día de hoy. Cierra con un 0,64% arriba en positivo hasta los 9.777 puntos. Cierre en positivo en Europa. El foco está puesto en Wall Street. ¿Qué va a pasar con las tecnológicas? Si estamos o no ante una burbuja en la inteligencia artificial, pero es un momento en el que tenemos que mirar también a la noticia del día, de la mano de Nordea.
Nordea Asset Management le ofrece la noticia ESG del día.
La noticia del día, la noticia en clave tecnológica, la noticia en clave medioambiental que les vamos a contar de la mano, una vez más, de Nordea. En concreto, vamos a contarles una noticia que repercute sobre todo al proyecto de sostenibilidad medioambiental. Les contamos la nueva hoja de ruta del transporte de pasajeros guiada por la sostenibilidad, desde la aviación hasta la industria marítima, pasando por los medios terrestres. El sector del transporte se encuentra en un punto de inflexión. De hecho, se ha embarcado en un viaje hacia un futuro más verde y eficiente. La sostenibilidad ya no es solo un objetivo, ha pasado a ser el eje central de la estrategia empresarial. Más que una aspiración, reducir las emisiones, optimizar las operaciones y minimizar el impacto ambiental constituyen imperativos que están redefiniendo el futuro de la movilidad global. Este artículo forma parte del encuentro de sostenibilidad turística Hostel Tour, el transporte, la sostenibilidad que sigue siendo punto focal para las empresas a día de hoy.
Nordea Asset Management le ha ofrecido la noticia ESG del día.
Pendientes de la noticia sostenible, mirando la inteligencia artificial, atentos a este cierre en Europa. ¿Qué va a pasar hoy en Wall Street? Hacemos una pausa, 2 minutos y enseguida más análisis, más información en negocios, televisión.
La María Montessori decía, nunca hagas para un niño lo que él puede hacer por sí solo. Estaría en desacuerdo con usar el chat GPT para hacer los deberes. La profesora prepara la clase con el chat GPT. El niño llega a casa, hace los deberes con el chat GPT. El niño llega a clase, la profesora corrige los deberes con el chat GPT. Cerramos las escuelas. Es que todo esto no tiene sentido. Hay un matrimonio de conveniencia entre la industria tecnológica y la educación nueva. El negocio aquí es entrar en las aulas para conseguir la atención de los alumnos. ¿Qué tengo que hacer para crecer? Pues tengo que enganchar al usuario. Y por eso contrato psicólogos para asegurar que el niño esté enganchado cuanto más tiempo posible. Pero estamos luchando contra un negocio que engancha a nuestros hijos, que tiene un presupuesto ilimitado. ¿Quién va a ganar? Netflix, porque Netflix tiene unos recursos que nosotros no tenemos. Yo creo que vamos a pasar por momentos muy oscuros. Hay casos de niños que se han suicidado. Ahora mismo el que no tiene smartphone no tiene ningún problema social. Es importante que los jóvenes tengan recursos léxicos. Cada vez tienen menos. En las redes no es un lugar en el que tú adquieres recursos léxicos. Y hay una incompatibilidad profunda entre redes sociales y lectura profunda. Los jóvenes se van por un lado o por otro, o sea, pocas veces viven en los dos mundos. Les damos clases de educación emocional porque decimos que no saben identificar sus emociones. Dejémonos de tonterías. Lo que hace falta no es que identifiquen sus emociones, lo que hace falta es que sepan identificar la realidad, que sepan describirla y que sepan decir cómo se sienten con palabras adecuadas. Si no somos capaces de expresar adecuadamente lo que sentimos, muchas veces acabamos gritando, pegando tiros o quemando contenedores. De verdad que estamos en un momento en el que nos estamos jugando lo que significa la democracia y la palabra tiene un papel importantísimo en eso de la democracia con D mayúscula. O sea, no somos mejores por leer, porque no es suficiente leer, depende qué es lo que estás leyendo.
Buenos días, 8 de la mañana es la figura de Charlie. Buenos días, 8 de la mañana dicen que al oro le han bajado la tierra después de la jornada de ayer.
Seguimos en Negocios Televisión.
Mañana continuamos en Negocios Televisión.
Sean bienvenidos de nuevo a Negocios Televisión.
Negocios Televisión.
Sobre todo intentando ver lo que Europa está poniendo encima de la mesa en esos ejercicios militares. Buenos días, 8 de la mañana, ¿han desayunado bien?
Si estás viendo esta cadena es que te gusta estar bien informado y te gustan mucho los mercados financieros.
No, pero no critiquéis. Aquí vemos todo lo contrario. Os oía todos los días.
Esto lo hacen estupendamente.
Es un cachondeo. Pero lo que está claro es que ahora mismo
Traéis a invitados excepcionales.
Good afternoon, Cathy Booth.